Hi, you guys. Welcome back. And of course, if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Tracy Erickson, and in this video, I will be sharing with you the 7 laws of the Hermetic philosophy. And when these 7 laws are understood and integrated in your life, your perception will change for the better forever. So stay tuned. These 7 laws of the Hermetic philosophy that I'm about to share with you contain so much wisdom. But the thing about real, true wisdom is that it takes time for the wisdom to unfold. The wisdom is coming from within. So as I give you this introduction to these 7 laws, just remember that this is like step 1. You are simply bringing these laws into your conscious awareness. So you can kind of compare this to maybe someone helping you start your engines, but it will be up to you to let that wisdom blossom from within and to integrate that into your consciousness. Encyclopedia.com states, the ancient Greeks identified their god Hermes with the Egyptian Thoth and gave him the epithet Trismegistus, or thrice greatest, for he had given the Egyptians their vaunted arts and sciences. A vast literature in Greek was ascribed to Hermes Trismegistus. The cited number of works ranges from 20,000 to 36,525. It goes on to state a strong Hermetic tradition persisted in the Middle Ages. Stobaeus, the anthologist in the late 5th century, preserved 29 excerpts from Hermetica. Michael Psellus in the 11th century knew of the Corpus Hermeticum, but in the medieval mind, the name of Hermes Trismegistus was usually associated with alchemy and magical talismans. Albertus Magnus condemned the diabolical magic in some Hermetic works, but Roger Bacon referred to Hermes Trismegistus as the father of philosophers. Medieval chemistry was often called the Hermetic science. The magical and philosophical literature attributed to Hermes Trismegistus received widespread currency in the Renaissance. Traditional Hermetism was erroneously considered to be of ancient Egyptian origin and thus much older than the esteemed Greek philosophers who had been influenced by Egyptian beliefs. In the 15th century, Georgius Gemistus and the Platonic Academy of Florence spread the view that Hermes, a contemporary of Moses, had founded theology. The Latin Asclepius was printed in 1469, and Marsilio Ficino published his influential Latin translation of the first 14 books of the Corpus in 1471. The Greek text of the Corpus was published by Adrianus Turnabus at Paris in 1554. Both philosophical and magical Hermetism declined rapidly in the 17th century after Isaac Causation showed in 1614 that the Hermetic writings were of the post-Christian era. Hermetism continued thereafter only among the Rosicrucians and other secret societies and occult groups. All right, so encyclopedia.com gave us a little bit of background as to where, where this Hermetic philosophy comes from. And I find it quite interesting that Hermes wrote so much literature, and so much of it, so many of his ideas and so many philosophies are still, even to this day, being studied. Wisdom is kind of like this energy field that you kind of put yourself into. So the more that you focus on understanding your life and really just the philosophy of life in general, then the more this wisdom will blossom, like I said. So the more that you put yourself into the flow of wisdom, the more the wisdom will be revealed to you. So these 7 laws from Hermes are very important to me because all of these are just pointing out universal understandings that when you truly look within, this wisdom is something that you can find within yourself already. So that is why it is like a universal truth. These laws apply to every person, place, or thing, no matter who you are, where you are, or what your beliefs are. So without further ado, let's just get into these 7 laws from Hermes. Law number 1, all is mind. Mind is everything. So what this law is stating is that thought itself is what creates life. Okay, so this one is a little more esoteric in nature. So you really have to, reflect on it a little bit, possibly, to fully really understand what this law is trying to tell you. But it's really a law of mentalism. So that's why we have so many different people with so many different perspectives. It's because their life is the way it is based on how they think and what thoughts that they perpetuate in their own experience, right? Now, this can also be drawn all the way back to the beginning of time. So I believe that Hermes is also trying to express that God, the creative force itself, and the reason why we are even here is because thought needed a way to manifest itself. Thought is all there is. All is mind. Mind. This principle explains the true nature of energy, power, and matter. And the second law is as above, so below. Now, that was the title of a recent video that I created, so I'll be sure to put a link to that one. But as above, so below is explaining that man, or us humans, actually have the ability to use our reasoning to see things known to us in this material world, and to use our reasoning to understand the esoteric and the unseen side of ourselves. So what we see out here is a reflection of what's in here. And that is what this law is trying to tell you. So as above, so below is telling you directly that you can see things out here, but yet understand things that you cannot see on the inside. So again, this is something that over time is more understood. But I also recommend going to check out my video that I titled As Above, So Below. And I believe that you will have a full and complete understanding of what that really means. The third law is that nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything is vibrating at a certain level of vibration. So everything is constantly moving. Now, this, the solid reality that we are living in doesn't look as though it's moving, not from the naked eye. But if you put it under the proper microscope, you will see that, all the way down to the level of the atom, it is constantly in motion, constantly vibrating, and constantly moving at whatever speeds. So even though something looks solid and unmoving, when looked at properly under the correct microscope, you can see that it is all vibration from a cellular level or an atomic level and a quantum level. So everything vibrates at a certain level of vibration. So this law is really explaining that there is a difference in vibration of all manifestations, whether it is a physical manifestation, mental, emotional, or a spiritual manifestation. All things vibrate at different levels of vibration. And the fourth law is that all is duality. Everything has its pairs of opposites. Everything is the same, even though it seems different. So things that are like and unlike are the same. So let me explain. Duality is, let's say, for instance, love. You have love and you have hate. Now, hate doesn't feel as though it's connected to love in any way. But really, if love is kind of like a spectrum, then unconditional love, the love of Christ, would be on one end of the spectrum, and then extreme hate and destruction, Luciferian type of thing, might be on the other end of that exact same spectrum. So it's the pairs of opposites. You have hot, you have cold, you have day, and you have night. So every single thing has its opposite. I really don't know how else to explain that in much more simple terms than that, but there are two sides to every coin. There is a South Pole to every North Pole, and, a positive charge for every negative charge. So there is duality and the pairs of opposites in every single thing. So opposites are identical but vary in different degrees. And the fifth law is that everything is rhythm. So there really is rhythm in nature and in everything. Look at the tides coming and going, the moon cycles, there's a rhythm to it. Our breath, there's a rhythm to that. There's a rhythm to our heartbeat. There is actually a rhythm of the planet called the Schumann resonance. So everything has a certain rhythm. And so the more that you start to see these cycles in your life, then the more that you can understand this law on a deeper level and how it can apply to you personally. But even like the women in their menstrual cycle, that is another rhythmic thing that happens in life. So rhythm is seen everywhere in nature. So as soon as you can understand that there is a rhythm to everything, that we all have our peaks and our valleys, life gets easier, because then you start to understand that even on a bad day, it's not going to stay there. The wheel will continue to turn and you'll have a good day again. So it's always good to remember that every single thing has a rhythm and a cycle that it goes through. And we have the sixth principle, which is causation. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. So the law of causation is like its law. There's nothing that happens by chance. Every single thing that you experience was caused by something preceding it. There was a cause to that effect. So whether, your physical manifestation could be the effect of a thought that was the original cause. Do you see what I'm saying? So nothing is going to escape this law that every single effect that you experience in your life has a real cause that you can lead yourself back to. So I also kind of see this in synchronicities. So where it looks like seeming chaos, and some people call synchronicities just mere coincidences, but nothing escapes the law. So with this law of causation, you know that if you're starting to see things that you might want to feel compelled to call a coincidence, it's time to understand that what you're seeing is an effect of some other cause. So it's not a mere chaotic coincidence. It is a synchronistic event, an effect that had an original cause. That is causation. And last but not least, we have the seventh Hermetic law of philosophy. The principle is gender. There is male and female polarity in everything. So on the outside, I look like I am female, but I'm actually created with energies of male and female. So what I mean by that is that you have the male energy, the masculine energy, and that masculine energy has an aggressive characteristic to it. That is what causes us to take action and to do things. That is what causes something to grow, for instance. I don't know. Let me just continue to explain. And then you have the feminine aspect, the female gender. And that energy is very receptive. So let me give an example in nature. So you have a seed that is going to be receptive as well as aggressive. It's going to have the masculine and the feminine all within it, just like you do. So the seed is receiving the sunlight, it's receiving the water and the nutrients from the soil. And then that masculine aspect is causing it to grow, to, after receiving, then it's going to grow. But you could also look at it in terms of any person, place, or thing. Even planets have assigned genders. So if you are familiar with astrology, you would know that some planets have the more masculine characteristics and other planets have the more feminine characteristics. So nothing escapes this law. Again, this is another law of nature where there are the two genders in every single thing. Now, the more that we understand that, then the more that we can understand ourselves, honestly, because we actually all have every female has the male counterpart. Every male has the female counterpart. We are all both, but on an energetic level. All right, you guys. So that was just a quick introduction to the 7 Hermetic laws of philosophy. I just wanted to introduce you guys to this because, like I said, in my opinion, these 7 laws exist in all things. But you really have to reflect and begin to understand. So you have to plug yourself into the flow of that wisdom in order to let that wisdom blossom within yourself. So step 1 is just becoming aware of the way the universe works. And so once you've gained a little awareness in the way that the universe works, then you can begin to apply these principles of philosophy into your life to really let that wisdom come out. Because deep down inside, all of us already know all of these things, but it's just a matter of unraveling all the confusion of this third dimensional reality that we live in. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. So if you like this video, be sure to click that like button and share this video with your friends out there. And of course, if you're a viewer but not yet a subscriber, I would just love for you to click subscribe down below. And once you've subscribed, you can click that bell to be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending your time with me. I love you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.